What kind of fool am I?
Greetings from Castle Goring, from Mickey, Aurora, and from me. Without further ado, I am going to plunge in because we have a lot of ground to cover today. And before we actually start to cover the questions, I'm going to address one or two issues that matter greatly and matter to me as well as mattering greatly generally. Well, I suppose the very first thing I should address is the fact that yesterday the Prime Minister announced that we're having an election on the 4th of July. Interesting. I really don't know what to say, because my personal feeling is that if he wishes to win, he should have tried to have a few more advantageous happenings between now and the 4th of July. I don't think that he's going to be re-elected at all. Well, he wasn't elected as Prime Minister, but he was elected as an MP. I don't think he's going to be elected again as Prime Minister, or nominated, however you want to put it. I would be very surprised if we have a Conservative government on the 5th of July. We live in very interesting times, as is being proven elsewhere. And so now I will get to that, because I am now going to touch upon some rather important matters that are happening as well. The inquiry at the moment into the post office, and that ghastly woman who calls herself a female priest called Paula Venables, who actually had the unmitigated gall to break down in tears when she was being asked awkward questions. And obviously, one tear left eye. Oh, Megsy baby, I'm taking a leaf out of your book. Yes, I'm being asked awkward questions. I'm gonna cry. The woman is unconscionable. And if she thinks I am doing her an injustice, I would invite her to sue me. She is the sort of person who gives Sadducees and Pharisees a good name. That's the first thing. But I will say I am delighted that the government has sped through things to the extent that they have. I have had my doubts about this government for quite some time, because aside from anything else, I felt that who was elected should actually be leading the country, not someone else who was parachuted in. But putting that aside, I am very encouraged by this response to the post office scandal, and also that the government has been responding very positively with regard to the other great scandal of this nation, which is the contaminated blood scandal. These have been going on for decades, with all three major political parties involved. It tells you that there is a rot at the heart of the political establishment. I hope that this is going to be a lesson in cleaning up. Maybe they can use some J's or Dettol. And on that note, I will plunge in with less important matters, but which address the questions that have been asked of me. So, J. Fra says, Dear Lady C, I question the latest legal action taken by David Sherborne on behalf of Prince Harry. Justice Fancourt has denied their application to an outsider, Australian. All I see is a legal firm trying to elongate a case for profit and publicity. It looks like professional delinquency. Is there a situation in the British legal system where a law firm can be cautioned by a judge, etc., that their behaviour is breaching professional ethics? Harry strikes me as a client who is unable to see the point where common sense intervenes enough for him to see he is being used. I imagine his quest to keep slaying dragons is too much of an ego boost for any touch of reality to get through. Very interesting question, very topical, and cuts right to the heart of several matters, chief of which is our legal system. First of all, David Sherborne is not a member of a law firm. He is a barrister. He is an independent who functions through chambers. He is instructed by solicitors. In reality, of course, he works with a variety of solicitors, and he basically allows them to instruct him. So who instructs whom is an open question, because he is the architect of this whole matter, as was made very clear by Harry in previous evidence. I was in the south of France and I was staying with Uncle Elton, otherwise known as Sir Elton John, Mummy's good friend, and pity Doria isn't here, own eyes, I tell her, this is superb weed. But I was saying, I think you get the drift. He has effectively confirmed that David Sherborne has created all these claims out of his knowledge of the law and his imagination of what could be. And he has played Harry like a violin. Obviously, he and Meghan shared violin instructors together at some point, because she also plays Harry like a Stradivarius. But he then, yes, solicitors are separate from barristers, and there is really no mechanism that I know of. And my brother had a well-known law firm in this country, and he was, before he was a solicitor, he was a barrister in Sir Dinglefoot's chambers, 2 paper buildings, which was one of the great chambers of this country. And I am not aware of any mechanism that would allow a solicitor or a barrister to be penalised, save in the most extreme circumstances, which these would not be, I fear. To prolong a case for profit and publicity? With due respect, judges are lawyers as well. The legal system is set up by lawyers, for lawyers, under the guise of for justice. Some judges, especially at the senior level in this country, and I would be tempted to include Mr Justice Fancourt in that number, take their job seriously and apply the law positively. But they're not beyond a little bit of chicanery as and when it suits them. For instance, a former colleague of my brother's called Roger Cook, who actually cooked up a judgment against me, even though the evidence was to the contrary, and stuck me with most of the legal costs, even though it was against procedure. They will do things like that. Do I think this is a massive money-making exercise and publicity endowment for David Sherborne? Yes, I do. I do. Well, it's not only, though, for David Sherborne's glorification and enrichment. And I will tell you, David Sherborne does not have a reputation that I would envy amongst many of the legal profession. It is a commonly accepted belief that he will never, ever become a KC now. He will end up, if he isn't already, the most senior junior in this country, but he's never going to have the silk as, so let's put it that way. But he doesn't care. He's a very competent barrister. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant against Rebecca Vardy is her name. Rebecca Vardy, with that other footballer's wife. What is her name? Oh, goodness, it escapes me. Very, very solid and down-to-earth girl. It was a huge case the other day, and he was brilliant with it. He's very good. He's lethal. He also is extremely resourceful, and he's better before a jury than before just a judge, because the judge can see through the claptrap, while a jury often can't. But also, he's very good at getting to the heart of the matter in many cases. And he certainly got to the heart of the matter where Harry is concerned, because Mr Justice Fancourt took pains to point out that they were actually embarking upon political exercises. That's right. Oh, and I'm going to quote what Mr Justice Fancourt said. He said, that there is a desire on the part of those running the litigation on the claimant side to shoot at trophy targets, namely Rupert Murdoch. They were trying to suck in Rupert Murdoch to end up getting massive damages. And let me continue. Whether those are political issues or high-profile individuals. So he understands that this is also trying to be political and effectively trying to change the law and trying to muzzle the press. which I think is a very astute observation on his part. He continued, tempting though it no doubt is for the claimant's team to attempt to inculpate the man at the very top, namely Rupert Murdoch, doing so will add nothing to a finding that Miss Brooks and Mr. James Murdoch or other senior executives knew and were involved, if this is proved to be the case. Well, he's made a very good point, because at the moment they have Rebecca Brooks in the frame. She was Rupert Murdoch's blue-eyed baby, and she ran the news of the world. And James Murdoch, who is his son. So he struck out a lot of the application, but he also gave Harry 1 or 2 minor victories. So he's been careful to have a leavened loaf. So Harry can't say, oh, I'm a victim yet again. Oh, now the judge is against me. Well, let's see if Harry settles, or if he continues to throw fool's gold in David Sherborne's pocket. Because it's not only David Sherborne who is on, and I've broken down the figures previously, he makes about $250,000 out of each client during a case, at least. So he doesn't need the permatan, he doesn't need the hairspray and the bouffant hair. He has the money. He's a very attractive man no matter what. Goodness gracious, what did I say? Oh, I don't think he's rich enough for certain Nigerian aristocrats, though. No. Benny B says, Lady C, there are stories everywhere that Meghan is giving Harry a hard time. Are your bongo drums telling you anything? And if so, what? Yes, they are. The marriage has hit another rough spot, but there have been several other rough spots. But people who think that's a guarantee that it's going to be over anytime soon, it's not necessarily going to be over anytime soon. But yes, and I'm going to tell you what somebody who knows them well said to me as an analysis of their relationship. They think it is sadomasochistic in tone, that she is a dominatrix, he is a submissive, but since you evidently in sadomasochistic relationships, they do sometimes flip the positions, if only temporarily, unless, of course, hard cash is involved, in which case it's just straightforward business deal. But otherwise, it's rather like George Bernard Shaw's Duchess. We know what we're speaking about. And the price that we're haggling over is not necessarily in raw coinage, but in other coinage. So, status, position, matrimony, devotion. But anyway, I was told that Meghan's big game is you failed me again, and you promised to protect me, and you failed me again. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. And there I was thinking that I'd found a really wonderful protector, and that I was going to be safe. And you failed me. And that Harry's main game is, I feel guilty. I feel guilty because I couldn't rescue Mummy, and I'm failing with this Mummy again. And this Mummy gives me benefits that the other one didn't. What am I going to do? I can't be blowing in the wind. What am I going to do? Oh, I'd better. But no, I don't want to. I don't want to kiss and make up. No. She's been mean to me. She's a mean Mummy. But I'm failing her. Yes, she tells me I am failing her. But I can never do anything that's good enough for her. No. Everything I do is wrong. I don't know why I always fail as a son. Even when I'm in the Oedipal role, I still fail. Even if it's with Jocasta. Well, if that is the case, and there is ample evidence to suggest that it is the case, she has him coming and going, and he has allowed himself to be hooked coming and going. He can wriggle all he wants. It's like, I remember when I was a child, my brother had a friend who enjoyed lassoing. He used to get ferns and strip off the leaves and do a hook with them and hang lizards from trees. Well, I couldn't stand lizards, but I could even stand even less looking at what Paul was doing to those poor lizards. I mean, it was just disgusting. But they wriggle, and there's no hope for them as long as that lasso's around their neck. And Harry can wriggle all he wants unless he cuts that rope and frees himself. He's like those lizards. Wriggle. No escape. The person who told me this said that they hope that, and I'm going to quote, at some point he will see the light and realise that Meghan isn't Mummy, or even like Mummy, and he's been had. I hold out no great deal of hope. I am a firm believer in Heraclitus's adage, character is destiny. And Harry's character shows that he's destined to wriggle. He's weak. Who knows? Maybe one day he'll get the strength, but I don't think so. He's like my father, posing as a big man while really being a pathetic little weakling boy. Shuki says, Lady C, would you mind clarifying this situation? I am somewhat confused. Last year, the Getty family contacted you through a friend. They didn't contact me directly. With their concerns over the spider Ms. Markle's intentions towards Gordon. She needed to be warned off. Why then would they allow their creature Gavin Newsom to come to her defence? Surely she's the last person they'd want him to back. Please, can you enlighten us? Love to you and yours. Very interesting question. Gavin Newsom, I am advised by people in the democratic world, was happy to jump on the bandwagon and appear to be defending Meghan and Harry, while in fact he was actually shafting his own opponent locally, who I can't remember his name. But he wants to run, and Gavin Newsom is his sworn enemy. I think he's the Attorney General. I could be wrong. He's something. I didn't write it down, and I'm afraid I don't remember exactly. But he's something in quite powerful in the California Democratic political scene. And I think he is the Attorney General. And so Gavin Newsom was actually under the guise of exonerating Meghan and Harry. He was actually saying, this guy's so incompetent, his department can't even function properly. So that's what he was doing. It's nothing to do with Gordon Getty. Nothing at all to do with Gordon Getty. Per se. The real reason is something else. He puts me in mind of Lisa Hanna in Jamaica, knowing that all she needed to do was turn away where the cameras were concerned while she was greeting Catherine at the airport to kick off the whole melee. He's done something similar, but I don't think it's going to have quite the dramatic effect that Lisa Hanna's had in derailing the Wales visit to Jamaica. They were still the Cambridges then. Cloudy before rain says, some of these names. The line of succession is the preserve of Parliament, not the monarch. That's right. Newly arrived royal children are entered into the line automatically. I've been trying to say that. If there is anything amiss, then Parliament must take it up retrospectively. That's the law. Thank you very much, Cloudy Before Rain, for shining light on the subject and assisting me in getting across the point I've been trying to make. Harry or anybody else who is in the line of succession by ostensible right cannot be removed. They can remove themselves. They can renounce their rights of succession to the throne. Princess Margaret was mooted to have to renounce her rights of succession to the throne if she had married Peter Townsend. Colleen Rooney. Colleen Rooney. That's the name of the other footballer's wife that I was thinking of earlier. Colleen Rooney. Sorry, I got there in the end. So it's popped into my head now. So if I may, I'll just wrap up this question by saying thank you very much, Cloudy Before Rain, because that's it in a nutshell. If it should emerge that anybody in the line of succession has no right to be there, it's not up to the king to remove them. I hope that sorts at least some of the concerns that people have. Beware of, beware of pigeons. I can tell you something. We had a whole load of pigeons here. They are the most wretched nuisance. Anyway, beware of pigeons. Fortunately, I've got rid of most of them, like sealing off their nesting area, which was in the clock tower room in the clock tower. Can you imagine? They found a way in, and my goodness, did they use it as a nest. But enough of beware of pigeons. Dear Lady Colin, greetings to you and your Carolean lady friends on the sofa. Thank you very much. Woof woof. In the light of the death of the Iranian president and minister of foreign affairs in a helicopter crash, do you agree that it is time for the royal families to be more aware of the possible tragic consequences of using this mode of travel, bearing in mind all the implications regarding the line of succession, best left unspecified here? Who has the air of those whose voices are rarely heard over matters such as this, of concern to all who value the monarchy? Well, there are protocols and customs that say that the heir and the next in line should never travel together. But if you have headstrong members of the royal family who decide that they're going to do what they want to do, there's very little that can be done about it, save for Parliament to pass a law forbidding that the heir and the spare should ever travel in the same aircraft. That's a possibility. But insofar as customs and protocols are concerned, when you are dealing with people who are obstinate, they're going to do what they want to do. And sometimes when the more you oppose it, is the more determined they are to do what they want to do. There is a reason why some people are obstinate. Sometimes they've had parental role models, and I say no more. Terry Trammell says, "It's too bad that in the beginning the Queen didn't release Meghan's background information with the British people. Had she done that, it would have trumped Meghan's race card and saved the public a lot of money." Well, I couldn't agree more. It certainly would have nipped things in the bud, but it wouldn't have trumped Meghan's race card, because Meghan and Harry played that race card within a week of Meghan's relationship with Harry. Accidentally, one tail left eye, getting out. Oh, H, can you believe it? They've all leaked it. It's jeopardizing our relationship. And you're the love of my life. I've never loved anybody the way I've loved you. I mean, when I'm in your arms, I'm just in heaven. And you are the best lover I've ever had. Not, of course, that I've had very many. I've only had two that I can think of. They're ruining our... Oh, they're going to ruin my life. And heaven is in your arms. And heaven is with my head resting on your chest. And heaven's also other things, H, but I'm not going to go there now. No. But, you know, This is a girl that loves strawberry ice cream, yes. Well, she played the race card and she played the gender card, which has always perplexed me because I don't see what the objection could possibly have been to the press commenting on the fact that the prince was going out with a woman. I mean, that always struck me as normal, not sexist, but what would I know? I'm just a poor innocent little girl who doesn't know about these things, but I certainly know about the race card. And she played that from the word go, knowing that she would muzzle everybody, including the press, because had the press then come out with any fact of Meghan's past that she deemed undesirable for the public to know or inconvenient for her to have to live down, she would have been able to say, as she would have and has said, even though the press have systematically avoided speaking the truth about her, that they were racist. Any hint of criticism. So, could the Queen at that point have released the background information? Well, I don't think they had the background information at that particular moment, but they certainly got it soon enough. By then, I'm afraid Meghan had snuck into the stables. She'd opened up the stable door. She'd said, "Come, horsey, let's go into the field and graze," since when she's been stuffing her guts. And they have been on the back foot ever since. So I hear what you're saying, but I suspect you will understand what I'm saying. And so, no, she was very clever in neutralizing all possessors of knowledge of her unsuitability for any royal or public role. YouTube user Albert says, the rumours surrounding Catherine are just horrific. They include, and I'm going to read this out because it's so preposterous that it's just worth understanding how totally insane some of these things are. But they include, but are not limited to, Rose Henry's children or Williams. Oh, gosh, I have to tell you. I'm sure the Chumleys will roar with laughter at that one. They're indubitably David's children. Ridiculous. Anyway, and her eldest son is actually the heir to the throne. Oh, since when was a bastard going to be heir to the throne? Because if he were a royal bastard, he can't be heir to the throne. And as he is legitimately the heir to the Cholmondeley Marquisate, and he's clearly not a bastard, I don't see how he could be heir to any throne, but certainly as William's son, produced in a marriage. No, there's such a thing as presumption of legitimacy. It's a law in this country. So anyway, let's go on. Rose's attendance at recent functions. It's Camilla soft launching her to the world. I'm sorry, I have to read this. It's so bizarre. It's so ridiculous. And the only way to pour cold water on these idiotic, squirming creatures is by pouring cold water on them. soft launching her to the world because Catherine is gone. Well, she's gone to her sick bed, but not very many other places, sorry. B. Camilla prefers Rose over Catherine. C. Catherine has passed away, overdose on sleeping pills. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You've got to laugh. Catherine has taken Louis and Charlotte and run away to the country and has initiated divorce proceedings. So quietly that the courts don't know about them. It's all hideous. It's not only hideous, it's more than hideous. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, it's laughable. And I'm laughing, and you should be laughing as well. Just absolutely hideous. And interestingly, it's mostly Americans who are perpetuating these rumours on TikTok. California, here we come. The SS is wonderful, isn't it? Always was. Whether it's Meg's baby and H's SS, or Uncle Adolf and dear Joseph and Magda. I mean, all of this is so mad and crazy and bizarre and out on a limb that you have to laugh. There's nothing else to do. And incidentally, may I thank the people who have been saying that are telling me that terrible things are being said about me on Quora. I couldn't care less. First of all, I don't condescend to even look, much less read. And second, I couldn't care less. I mean, honestly, along the lines of this sort of rubbish, you just have to laugh. It's entertainment value, my dear, entertainment value. Susan Blake says, my mother, aunt and best friend all had cancer. Chemo ravages a body. Being young, fit and healthy, wealthy, hopefully, the princess is going to pull through and is receiving fantastic care. People need to give her privacy and peace to heal. I'm sure that Meghan would love to see an article complete with a photo spread entitled, Kate, How I'm Battling the Big C. I understand there are others she'd prefer to see even more, such as, well, I'm not even going to go there. But Phyllis Snowosad says, my cousin is suffering from stomach cancer. He and I spoke this past Saturday. When we spoke, he shared with me how exhausting and how much weight he is losing. He was pudgy, likely carrying 60 extra pounds. And he said he has lost 40 pounds because of chemotherapy and just lack of appetite, nausea, and being too weak and tired to eat. Princess Catherine didn't have 60 excess pounds to lose. So the poor woman must be a walking skeleton, and she has 3 small children to think of. Regardless that she is a princess, she is a mother first, and whatever time or strength she may have, she should be entitled to share with her family in peace. Pray for her and trust in God. Leave her in peace. I've read these 2 out because I agree with them. I think they're heartfelt, and many other people have said things along this line. And any ghoul who wishes her to jump through hoops like a performing seal should hang her or his head in shame. And I'm going to end with what House Mousel says. Is your castle haunted? Tell us about your home for a change. Let me put it this way. I am very much connected to this life, and I do believe that there is another life. But I also believe that it is my duty and business to live this life to the fullest of my ability without trying to see behind the veil or catch a glimpse behind the curtain. If one catches a glimpse accidentally, like with a flash, that's one thing. But I think my business is to be leading my life in this dimension. So I do not seek any other altar. Having said that, there have been many stories here about the fact that the castle is haunted positively, not negatively. There was a program done, Celebrity Help My House is Haunted, and they came up with their machines with various readings that Mary Shelley and Sir George Peachel are presences here. The late Mark Sykes was always convinced that Mickey was barking at Mary Shelley at a particular spot. I keep an open mind on all of this. All I can say is, if this castle is haunted, I'm very happy to share my space with the ghosts. They're very benevolent. There is nothing here that is frightening. I feel covered in warmth, care, and love. So I hope that answers the question. And on that note, I think we can depart with that bit of levity, hopefully you regard it as. And thank you very much for listening. If this has been of some interest to you, please could you keep the questions and comments coming in so I will know what you would like us to be speaking about. And please feel free to ask on anything. Okay, thank you so much. God bless and goodbye. And if you have truly enjoyed this, would you care to like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell, and take good care. Bye-bye.